Hi, my name is Shardon. Welcome to the SGA Sports channel. As the Golden State Warriors get the 118 to 112 win over the Boston Celtics, now I would like to welcome my guests Sriram Venugopal and Ben Kurtz to the postgame show. How you gentlemen doing tonight?
We're doing fine.
I'm doing good.
So Ben, so what were your takeaways from the game? I mean, it was a very entertaining game. I mean, it went back and forth. Each team was scoring back and forth. I mean, what were your thoughts on the game so far?
It was disappointing, you know, but it's early on in the season. I understand, you guys are having a good start to the year so far, and we've had the past. You guys have beaten us in the finals, and you guys have gotten us for the last couple of years. I know we didn't have Jalen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis, so that obviously could have made a massive change to how it looked tonight. But all in all, it was a really close one, and the Warriors have had a really good start to the season, so I know it's going to be a close one. But just didn't get it done, and that's what it is.
Hey, Shriram, what impressed you in this game? What did you see that kind of stood out to you?
Well, it's just the familiarity of the game. It's just it's a simple game of basketball, except with more teams, right? It's all I mean, I'm new to this, so I'm just saying the basics. I did see player number 22. What's the name of that? Hold on. Okay, so
Shriram, number 22 for the Golden State Warriors is Andrew Wiggins.
oh, okay. Okay, so he was scoring one pointers. He could do, I could say score. Aim for if you go back a little bit more, you get a 3 pointer. Like, you agree with me on this one, right? I mean, it's you can easily. I mean, we are already points ahead of the other team, the Celtics, but it's not you know, but you could do way better than that. I'd say, score 3 pointers. You'll be better off that way. You won't give the team another chance to come and try to beat you. So yeah, that's what I gotta say. Yeah.
So Ben, so what are your tips if the Celtics want to bounce back from this game? I believe they play again on January 20th. I believe on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. What are some tips you want to give the team as a whole if they want to bounce back from this loss and not end up getting swept by the Golden State Warriors in a two-game series?
Um, I mean, it's still kind of far away, so hopefully we have a full team by then. Uh, you know, I do expect that other guys will play better. I mean, tonight, Drew Holiday didn't have a great game. 32 minutes, only 6 points. Not ideal. You know, Nimias Keita, I've loved the guy. But when Porzingis comes back, I mean, in the starting five tonight, theoretically, you had Tatum, who obviously had a great one, 32 points, 10 to 20 from the field. Derek White, of course, with a really good game. And then Kidd obviously was fine. But typically, you would like to see a lot of the bench play a lot better. I mean, Pritchard had 16, Hauser only had 6. So, I think all in all, the Celtics I think will be fine. I'm not terribly worried. I mean, the Celtics beat the Warriors last year with Kristaps and Jalen Brown against that same Warriors team by 50 points. And I'm not saying it's going to be the same. We tend to not play well in Golden State. So regardless of if they're playing or not, but I do think that this Golden State team has had a good start so far to this year, but it's still really early. And when you lose a guy like Clay Thompson and you're bringing a guy like Buddy Hield, I think it helps a lot. But I think that they'll be ready to go by January, and I think that they'll find a way to bounce back here. I don't know if outside of January if we're going to play each other once again in the NBA Finals if we get there, which hopefully we do again. But yeah, I mean, just as for right now, um, it was one of those games, right? Went back and forth, and it sucked that we had to lose. So, Yeah, January I think will come back, and I think we'll find a way to bounce back in that one.
Sriram, so I have two questions for you. Number one, which players really stood out to you for the Warriors against the Celtics? And the second question is that how would you rate their performance against Boston?
Honestly, out of 10, I'd say, it's an 8 at best. I mean, like I said, they could score 3 pointers, or they could score, you know, you know, they could score, more. They could score more points, right? They could try to give the other team, you know, like another. They should not give the other team a chance to try to catch up. Even if the other team tries to catch up, they should just they should stand a chance against the other. Our team should still be able to stand a chance. Give us a higher chance of winning. So that's an 8 at best. But they played well.
Ben, for you, which player stood out for you for the Boston Celtics? And how would you rate the performance by Boston?
Tonight, I'd probably go a solid B minus. Jason obviously played well in the return to, him not getting any minutes during the Olympics with Steve Kerr ripping him out. So, of course, he was going off for revenge tonight, and he obviously did his job. But I think when you look at the starting five as a whole, I'd probably go a low B. Defense, I thought in the first half, the second quarter wasn't great, but I thought in the third quarter they got themselves back into the game. They even took the lead up by 6 and 7 points. And then the last 4 or 5 minutes, the execution wasn't great. So I'd probably say about a B.
I mean, as a Warriors fan, I have to give the Celtics a good amount of credit. I mean, they did play pretty hard against the Warriors. They did kind of sneak their way back into the game. So you have to give them kudos for their effort. They put a good effort. I mean, I'm happy with that. I'm not a Celtics fan, so I don't want to say too much, but I think they did put their effort was phenomenal. I think they did fire on all cylinders, and every player played their part.
No, I appreciate it, man. You guys had a good one too. It's a really good one for you guys. TD Garden is a really tough place to play for any team to go on the road, and for you guys to do it, kudos. I mean, and there wasn't
And
any.
anytime the Golden State Warriors face off against the Celtics, we definitely have your number. I mean, we've definitely beaten you multiple times. I mean, you've came back and gotten us. You've won against us also. But it's definitely a fun matchup to always play you guys because you guys got a lot of great players on your roster. You got Jason Tatum, you got Derek White, you got Jaylen Brown. I mean, your team is pretty stacked. But I mean, what are your thoughts on your current roster? And are there any other players that you like to add to your roster? You do think that your roster is pretty much set at this point? There's no other players that you want to add to your roster?
Yeah, roster's pretty stacked. Starting five. I mean, you have Drew, you have Jalen, you have JT, you have Porzingis, and you have Derek White. And then you obviously have Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Tillman. I mean, you have guys left and right that can do a lot of different things. You got essentially 2 all-stars leading the pack. Just won their first championship last year. Thank God. So they're essentially playing just really loose off this year. And I think it really helps us to really go deep once again this year. And, they added a couple of guys, but not a ton of guys. They really brought a lot of their guys back from this past year. And now they legitimately have a 3 to 5 year window where they can win multiple championships now because they have a lot of guys that just won it last year. And now essentially it's about, trying to run it back this year, which I think is could possibly happen. Right. So I think it's a really good situation that this team is in. And, when you look at the teams in the East, we're definitely going to be up there for sure in the top 3.
I was keeping up with the Warriors and Celtics game on TV, and this game was very lopsided because the Warriors got the lead, and then the Celtics took back the lead, and then the Warriors got the lead, and then the Celtics took back the lead, and then the Warriors tried to maintain it. Like when you play against a team like the Celtics, you always, if you have a lead, you want to maintain that lead. You don't want that lead to melt away. But I've seen the Warriors multiple times on TV when they had like a 20-point lead or something like that, and they weren't able to hold on to that lead, and they let it melt away. So that's what I don't like about this team, is that they sometimes don't play really well. They don't come out with that fight. On every single day. Shriram, would you agree that the Warriors are kind of like, they don't play really great? Like sometimes they have a pretty decent lead, and then they let that lead go away. So they can't hold on to a solid lead.
So what I'm saying, yeah. So I based on my observation, yeah, they do they do let their lead go away at some point, because they it seems like they just get tired very easily when they're playing. When you, let's say you throw some shots, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't want to play anymore, and then you let the other team win. Obviously, that I've seen that with many teams, not just the Warriors. I've seen it with the Sharks and other stuff. But I've seen it especially with the Warriors, especially recently. So yeah,
And sometimes when you play a really great team, sometimes you want to come out with that fight and intensity, and you want to come out with that firepower. Every single team you face, and you can't be afraid. Like you can't be afraid of a team, like because that's not how sports doesn't work that way. Like you got any team you face, you gotta play really hard every single night. Do you agree with that, Shiram? Like, do you agree that they have to play hard every single night?
yes, you have to try hard. Win or lose, right? Sometimes doesn't matter. You have to just try. You see the other teams trying. It's all the effort matters.
And sometimes this team tries hard, but sometimes it's not hard enough. Like they try and get back into the game, they try and score a lot of points, but sometimes it's little and it's too late. Like it's too late for them to make a comeback. Like sometimes they're down like 30 points with like 2 minutes left in the game, and they can't come back because it's too little time to come back. So what are some tips you give to the Warriors if they ever are down by a huge amount of points in a game, and they want to come back and kind of and win the game? What would you tell them to kind of lift their morale and boost their morale and make them more successful?
I say keep your head in the game. Don't think about anything that if you have any family matters at home that are keeping you from playing, you know, that is a different matter. You need to stay focused, right? Because it's game time, right? Nothing else comes in the picture here. Okay? If you have family matters at home, that is, you gotta deal with that when you get home. Plus, that's not going to really do much. It's not going to help you with your game. So if somebody, that's a different matter that probably smaller than what you're facing here. So that's my take on that one.
I mean, Shram, what are some tips if this team wants to win more games of the season? What would you tell them if they want to, contend for the finals or make it, or what would you say?
In terms of basketball, if you are, I would say score. Yeah, I would say you know if you cannot shoot a basketball, because you are not professional enough, you pass it to somebody else who will, and then you will. And also, here's a tip: score 3 pointers instead of 1 pointers all the time. Try to aim for 3 pointers, maybe even a 6 pointer if there's even one. And then make sure you're defending your the members of your team, trying to help them. you help each other. That's what the tip is. Help goes a long way.
I mean, like basketball is definitely a team sport. Like everybody has to rely on each other, um, and work together to achieve a common goal. Like, you know, if a team is losing, then the captain's job is to get the whole team together and then find a way to win. Um, Shram, would you agree with that comment that the captain's job is to get the whole team together because he's the main like leader of the team.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I mean, the coach is to train the team to work together and to bring together, and the coach is there to mainly, you know, watch along with the referee, let's say, to see if they're following the rules and of the game and make sure they're not messing up anything, right? But the coach has to come up with more ideas on how to overtake the other team and then basically score more points and basically help one another who is struggling, right? If you have an injured uh, player on the team, you should get someone to substitute.
Shram, so what are your tips if the Warriors want to go to San Francisco for Game Two of this two-game series in San Francisco and get a win over the Celtics? What would you get? What feedback would you give the team if they want to sweep the Celtics?
So feedback, right? If let's say I don't know much rules about the basketball because I'm not really a sports guy, but you know, but you know, but based on my games with some of the people that I played with, my friends, right? I have once participated in basketball. I'd say the rules I remember are like what you have to let's say tonight the offense was Warriors, so you're basically blocking the other player from from you know from making the shot. I'd say react faster, and just run along with the speed of the offending player, of the defending player, which is the home player. Well, you're the offender player. Your job is to overtake the team by reacting faster, and then trying to make sure that they don't make the shot. Even if they do make the shot, you have to do. You got to find ways to be better than the other team.
I mean, for me, I really like this game. Like it was very like lopsided. Like I said, like it was very back and forth. Each team was scoring. Like sometimes the Warriors took the lead, then the Celtics took it back. Then the Warriors took the lead, and the Celtics took it back. So it's very entertaining that way on how games work like that. Shriam, I mean, was this kind of unusual to see like the Warriors having the lead and then the Celtics regaining the lead back and then the Warriors taking it? Did you find this to be very did you find this to be very confusing on how the lead was just going away for the Warriors and the Celtics got the lead back?
See, I what see One way I see it is that both teams are just trying to overtake each other. There's one that's losing their lead. Probably if they lost their lead because the one was exhausted and was not ready to play anymore, or they just they were just kind of lethargic. They don't want to take they lost the lead, and then they will come back, and then the other team will keep, or no, in combination. I'd say both teams are trying their best. If they keep losing the lead, the other one keeps losing the lead as well. then they're just trying to overtake each other.
But like in sports, you can't give up. Like you have to keep fighting. You can't give up and say that I'm losing. That means we're not gonna play hard anymore. That's not the way sports works. Like you got to keep fighting till the game is over. You can't stop giving up and say I'm tired and like I'm exhausted and I'm not gonna fight. Sports doesn't work that way. You have to keep on playing hard and keep on fighting, no matter how many points the other team is leading by. You can't lose hope. Because sports you don't lose hope. Like that's just the motto in sports is that don't lose hope. Keep fighting. Like if even if you lost, you can still bounce back in the next game. You don't have to like be worried that we lost. Like you have to learn from your mistakes and move on.
Okay, so yeah, I agree. I agree, but
Because like in sports, whenever a team loses, they dwell on the loss. That's when you dwell on a loss. It's never okay. Because you've already lost. Like you can't really change what's happened already, right? You just have to move on and learn from the mistakes that you made and just don't let them happen again.
honestly, I'd say that it's applied to everything. If if you lose once, that just means you're knocked down. You just get up and and you keep going. I mean, you learn from what went wrong, and then you do better the next time. That's how life works. You only fail if you stop trying. That's the simple.
So it works every way. Like for example, if you ride a bicycle and you fall off your bicycle, you get back up and you ride again. If you fall down, you get back up and you start going again. You don't let that stop you. That's exactly what it is. Like it's just that's sports can apply to everything. Like sports, you can apply sports to everything. Your daily life, anything. You know, that's what makes sports so great is that you can apply to a wide variety of different things.
No, okay. If you're like so if you want if the team another tip I have for the team, like either team, if you really want to do better, right? You just got to keep at it. Don't try to don't try to slow down and you're because you're tired or something. Put those feelings inside and just be better prepared. Maybe hit the gym or something, before coming to a game. Maybe have more healthier meals. Don't have candy and all that junk. You'll be able to play, and think of it as exercise too.
So what tips would you give to an athlete if an athlete feels like he's not feeling respect on the team? What would you tell him if a player feels like nobody's respecting me, nobody's making me feel part of the team, they're excluding me from the team?
They are just trying to get your head into the game too. They want if the coach makes you their intention is not meant to put you down. They just want you to they want you to get in with the program because they want you to know that they're just worried about the game. It's not ever about you.
No, I was trying to make a situation that, for example, maybe like the opposing player was getting into the other player. For example, um, Jason Tatum is getting into Steph Curry's head. What would you tell Steph Curry if like another player is getting into his head and trying to distract him from like
Oh, so
performing
once
well? What would you tell Curry? Like maybe some because sometimes Curry gets distracted. Like the other player's trying to get in his head. He's trying to decrease his self confidence. But what do you tell Curry? if the other player's trying to get into his head, like like in a bad in not such a great way.
If another player tries to taunt you, it's basically anything. They're your enemy. They want to put you down because they themselves are insecure, right? They themselves are insecure. They feel intimidated by you, and so they're trying to put you down so they feel at the top. It's the same way it works in when you're bullied at school and all that. They literally are just trying to compete with you. And it's never about you because you okay, they just want to compete with you because they want to they want to score higher in academics than you, but they seeing that their attitudes are wrong, they're going to be their downfall only.
Ben, so if there were like two Celtics players who you could give a game ball to, who would you give it to? Like if you had two players who you would receive a game ball after this, after this loss, who would you give it to? Like which two players do you think did really well and you'd give them the game ball?
Brago Tatum and Derek White, right? There really wasn't outside of those two guys. There were some guys that obviously played well, but I thought that those really the two guys that were keeping us in that game. Being down 11 at halftime, and Tatum really didn't have a good first half at all, but he had a really good second half, and he started really kind of turning things up in the third quarter. I also thought Neemias Queta played really well. It gave us a lot of good minutes. Luke Cornett got hurt, so I mean we're kind of depleted in the big man game tonight. So yeah, I'll probably go with Tatum and Derek White.
Shriyam, which players stood out to you most for the Warriors against the Celtics?
The Warriors. I'd say the one I know most is I'd say it's Steph Curry. I mean, I've heard that he's one of the best players of the team. But player number 22 is actually you know he's one of the he is trying his best, but he's also he's kind of slow and sluggish.
I mean, like, this game was like, I hope that the Warriors can repeat this performance on January 20th on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because like that would be really special to sweep the Celtics team um at home. Shriyam, so do you gentlemen have any final thoughts before I close out the show?
Good game. Right down to the wire. Pretty much a lot of the games we faced you guys, besides the game in Boston last year, where you whooped you by 50. I mean, every game is basically close. So, you know, I'm not really upset. It sucks we lost. um, but, this team
Uh,
came back tonight and they won, and they're trying to go for a three-peat. So, you know, I could take that as a glass half full, if anything.
hey Shriyam, do you also have any final thoughts before we close out the show?
Yeah, I have to say the same thing as Ben. Like, good game. Great game. I loved how you guys played, but just make sure you're not losing it when you're playing. Make sure that you're not. Make sure you're not just losing the lead. Make sure you just don't stop to take any breaks unless absolutely necessary. So
I mean, like, I thought it was a great game. I thought, like, it was kind of really close. I thought that it would be kind of more high scoring. I thought like this game would be more high scoring than it should have. But in the end, a win is a win. It doesn't matter if it's you win by 6 points, or if you win by 10 points, or you win by 12 points. In the end, a win is a win. It doesn't matter how big or immense of a lead it is. It doesn't matter. Like, if you win, that's all that matters in the end. Doesn't matter how many points you win by. I just care that's a win, and that's all that matters. But thanks guys for joining the show. It was great having you on. And we'll look forward to doing this another time. So so it was great having you, and I hope to see you guys around.
Sounds good. Thanks for having
See
me.
ya.